All right, so welcome to today's lesson. So hope you guys are good. So while you are learning the statistics part of data science, there's something I really want to show you guys. So the first thing is that you have to do if maybe you want to confirm if you have Python installed on your operating system. Remember the first class, we downloaded Python from python.org and we installed it depending on the operating system you are using. So I said, if you are using Windows, the website will automatically detect Windows environment and give you the download file for Windows. If you are using Mac or if you are using Linux or any other operating system, the website is smart enough to detect the operating system you are using to access the website. So just to confirm, so this is what we'll do. On your Windows, like on your desktop environment, so you can press the Windows key. You know, Windows key is located at the top bottom left side of your keyboard. So that Windows key, you just press the Windows key and just type CMD. Type CMD, which is the short form for command prompt. So if you want to type CMD, you are going to see this button here, this app icon here. It's called command prompt. You click on it and let it open. That's one way of launching the command prompt. So let me show you another way. Let me close this. So what you do, you click on the Windows keyboard again and you type run. So this will come up, you click on it. Then what you do, anything you are seeing that is here before, just delete everything there and type CMD. You type CMD, click on enter, it's still going to bring you to the same. So I just want to equip you guys so that you know different alternative, like different ways. I said one thing about programming or tech, there are many ways to do a particular thing. So there's no one ultimate way of doing anything. You understand? So you just have to be vast and you just have to make sure that you have alternative just in case you can't use one method, you could always use another method. So let me proceed. So click on the Windows button again and type CMD and you see command prompt, the first one that is highlighted, click on enter. So this is what you do to confirm that you have Python installed on your OS. So this is a Windows command prompt. If you are using Linux, you could use a terminal, but since I'm using Windows command prompt. So what you do, as you can see, I'm currently on drive C, users folder, then Hydra. That's my Windows device name, what I'm using. So that's my nickname. So what you do, it could be anything. Maybe, for instance, your name is Esoe, or your name is Rita, or your name is Ima, or your name is Daffy. You are going to see, depending on the name you choose while you were installing your Windows operating system, so it could be anything. So what you do, if you are on Windows, you type Python, Python, and click on enter. As you can see, Python is installed. That's why you are seeing, it's showing me the version of Python 3.10.2. Then January 17th, 2022, the time, and a lot of all other stuff that you can see here. You understand? So let's proceed. So if Python is installed, it will automatically bring you to this page. But if Python is not installed, you are going to get an error. And it will tell you either Python is not a recognized command or something else. But if Python is installed, that is what it will show you. You understand? So what we'll do next, so just to confirm that Python is working, you could just do basic arithmetic or let me just do a basic, okay, first of all, let's start with I don't know, I like using 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 automatically to give you 4. Another thing we could do is that, let me just confirm, click on print and under it, hello 300 days of code army. So let me just confirm. Can you see now it outputs hello 300 days of code army? You understand? So that's just to confirm that Python is working. You get, so this just to confirm that Python is working. So this is one way of doing it. So you could actually carry out your Python programming using the command prompt. You understand? So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it, remember when we installed Python, I said you guys should send a shortcut, like a desktop, a copy of the program to your desktop. As you can see now, there's this IDLE Python. There's also another Python 3.10. You understand? So what we'll do now, let me double click on this IDLE Python. So I'm going to show you different ways you could run your Python code. So double click on that integrated learning environment. So this is another way you could also program in Python. Let me maximize this screen here. So as you can see, automatically when you open the IDLE, you are going to see the version of Python, Python 3.10.2, and the same thing we saw while we were using the command prompt. So you could just do basic calculation. This IDLE is interactive. What interactive means is that anything you are typing, anything you are doing, like if I should write the code print in bracket hello world, is going to give me the result immediately. That's why it's called an interactive platform. So just for those that are practicing and you want to see what your code will be like once you finish writing it. So what we'll do now, let me just do another 2 plus 2 here. That is normal arithmetic. As you can see, it will give me 4. So you could like do a lot of stuff using this. So you can also write your code here using the IDLE shell. And also, let me close this. Another way you can do it also, you could also double click on this Python 3.10. Automatically, it will launch the Python environment for you. So we could also do 2 plus 2 just to confirm so that you can see it and to give you 4. These are some of the ways. So I remembered for those that did web development, like I introduced to them Sublime Text and Visual Studio. Those are text editors you could use for programming and web development. So we could also use that for web development for Python programming as well. So let me double click on Sublime Text. Let me just open a new project and let me save this as let me just save it in desktop and let me just call this test.py. Don't forget, Python programming language has the extension .py. You understand? So make sure it has .py. Py stands for Python. If it is C, it will be .c, which is if you are programming in HTML, it will be .html. So I'll save this on desktop. So let me just do something like basic printing of statement. So let me just say what is your name? Asking you a question. Then so let me save this. So I've saved this. So let me go and run it. So the code here, I saved it on my desktop environment. So I'll double click on it and run it. As you can see, it's asking me what is your name. So I did that like this was the command I gave to the Python environment. In this case, I'm using Sublime Text. So I had to like use the print function for me to tell Python to ask me what my name is. So what is your name? So so after saving the file, let me close it. I saved it to desktop. As you can see here, I saved it as test. So it's on my desktop environment. So when you double click on it, your code is going to run. So you see all those complex code you see, and you see all those like source code, you see thousands and millions of source code, they all started like this. So this is just like the basic thing you have to do. So just to make sure that your Python is working properly, you understand? So let me close it. So this is one way. So instead of using Sublime Text, you could also use Visual Studio Code. It's basically the same thing. Save the file as .py. That's the only way your text editor is going to recognize the language. If you save it as .html, it's going to recognize it as an HTML file. If you save it as .py, it's going to recognize it as .py file. You understand? So another way we could also run it also, since in this case you are doing data science, remember I told you guys to install Anaconda. And when you install Anaconda, it comes with Jupyter Notebook. You understand? Anaconda Navigator, I already sent a copy to my desktop because see Anaconda Navigator. So Anaconda comes with Jupyter Notebook when you double click on it. And the Jupyter Notebook, I sent a copy here on my desktop. So I just have shortcut of those programs I use frequently. So instead of launching Anaconda every time, I just sent a copy of Jupyter Notebook on my desktop. So what we'll do now, I'll double click on this Jupyter Notebook. And don't forget, when you double click on Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter Notebook runs locally on your device, whether you are using a laptop or you are using a desktop. So if you double click on it, it will automatically open your web browser, your default web browser. In this case, I'm using Google Chrome. So Google Chrome is going to be launched automatically. So I'll double click on it to launch it. Just allow this stuff to run on the background. It's going to run just to make sure that all things are working properly. So allow it to run. And as you can see, my browser, it's opened automatically. So my browser is opened automatically. So you can see now, this is my file structure for Windows. As you can see, 3D Object, Anaconda, Contact, Desktop, Document. These are things you can find on your device. So what we'll do is now, I want to navigate to desktop because that's what I want, where I want my files to be located. So what I will now do now, I could decide to save it in any folder here or on my desktop, since all these are files that are on my desktop. So what I could do now, I'll just click on new, and you see, when you click on new, you see Python 3 or text file folder. I don't want a folder, I don't want a terminal, I don't want a text file. I need a Python 3 notebook. So what I'll do, I'll click on Python 3 and automatically it's going to load and it's going to open a notebook. A notebook is just like the IDL I showed you guys. It is interactive. So what we'll do now, I'll click on print. I'm just trying to introduce the tools we are going to be using so that it will be easier for you. So what I'll do now, I'll click on print. Print is a function that you use in Python to display something on your screen. So let me just use any text, or let me try this out. So what you do now, for you to run this particular cell, you could do your shift and your enter key. So I run shift and enter. You see now, brought out this, try this out, which is what I specified as this is a string in Python. So when I start doing the Python tutorial, I'm going to explain the different data structure for you guys and different data type, being it integer, strings, floats, and the rest. So this is another way to do. So make sure if you've not installed Anaconda, make sure you install Anaconda on your device. And Anaconda comes with Jupyter Notebook, and Jupyter Notebook is what we are going to be using strictly for the data science. So if you don't want to use Jupyter Notebook, you could as well use Google Colab. You understand? So the reason why I prefer Jupyter Notebook is that Jupyter Notebook, it runs based on my system configuration. For example, now, if I have 8 gig RAM or I have 16 gig RAM, I can as well use up to that memory. Like my process will not slow down. Why? Because I have enough memory to carry out all the processing that I need. But if you are using Google Colab has limitation in terms of RAM that you are being allocated to. You understand? So we are going to be using strictly Jupyter Notebook, but you could ask anything you can do on Jupyter Notebook, you can as well do it on Google Colab. You understand? So this is Jupyter Notebook, and we could use it. So you could just check the title of it and just say call it first data science class. So we call this first data science class and rename it. You see now the name has changed there, first data science class, for instance. So I could as well do 2 plus 2 here, run it here, and it's going to give me the answer here. Here, input, here is the output. Input is what we are giving the command, and here is also the output, what that will be displayed when the Python interpreter runs this particular cell. You understand? So then also I want to show you guys something. Let me just show you guys something so that you know. So while that is loading, let me close this, or let me just minimize it. Let me quickly open Anaconda on the background so that while it's loading, let me show you guys something. So I don't know, network is kind of bad. It's taking a whole lot of time for it to load. But welcome to Nigeria, bad network. So while we are with Anaconda to open, okay. So just after this class, just feel free, double click on the Jupyter Notebook application. It will run, it will open, and it will take you to your default location, which is your environment that contains desktop and some other things here. Like it will take you to this page like before. Then you will now be the one to navigate to where you want to save it to. So if you just check any of them, and I prefer desktop because it's easier for me to see. You select desktop and click on new. and open Python 3, as the case may be. So depending on you. So why this whiteboard is opening, I don't know why the Anaconda is taking so much time. But I just want to really show you guys something like, so the Jupyter, the Anaconda Navigator has been opened there. So you could, as you can see, you see the stress, like you have to go to like open the Anaconda Navigator before it will now load, before you now see Jupyter Notebook here. Yeah, the Jupyter Notebook that I double clicked from my desktop is here. You can as well come to this place and launch it if you want to. You can as well use Jupyter Lab. Jupyter Lab, if you can use Jupyter Notebook, you can use Jupyter Lab. They are the same. It's just the interface, the environment, the way it is, that's the difference. So you could use Visual Studio Code, just the way I said it before, or you could also use PyCharm. PyCharm is also an IDE, an integrated development environment that you can also use to run your Python code, but I don't use it. Then another IDE is also called Spider. Yeah, this one here that you are seeing is Spider. You could as well use it. Feel free to play around with it, but for the sake of data science and to make your life easy. And sometimes you want to collaborate on a project, and if I should run my code on Jupyter Notebook, I could save that notebook and share it and send it to anybody, and the person could continue from where I stopped. You understand? So that's why Jupyter Notebook is very easy and sweet to use. So that you go with Jupyter Notebook or you go with Jupyter Lab. So I'm just giving you guys the various options that are available so that you will know. Not that somebody will ask you maybe in an interview and stuff like that, apart from Jupyter Notebook, what else can you use? You will not be arguing with the interviewer. You can't use any other thing for data science aside Jupyter Notebook. That's why I'm giving various options so that you know the options that are available to you. So I'll close this from now. So I'll close this. Yeah. So to end this class, I just want to show you how programming works. First of all, programming means giving your computer a set of instructions to carry out for you. And now previous class, I told you guys different application of Python programming language, which can, for example, Python can be applied in data science / machine learning, web development, automation, unit testing, a whole app development, a whole lot of stuff. You understand? So I just want to show you guys something quickly. So let me draw something out here. No, I'm not bad network. So yeah. So pardon my drawing, please pardon my drawing. Yes. So I'll call this. Call this a translator. Then I'm having network difficulty here. That's why this thing is not so. Anyway, I just want to quickly illustrate something for you guys. Sorry, let me erase this. I don't know why I did to MTN today, but network is kind of bad for me here. But so I just want to illustrate how the code you write, how it is being transformed. Usually your machine, in fact, by default, your machine only understand binary, like ones and zeros, you understand? So I'll call this since we are using Python in this case. So usually what we do here, when you use maybe Visual Studio Code, Notepad, or PyCharm, your machine by default only understand ones and zeros, which is binary. So there's what we call a translator. You're a translator. In this case, PyCharm, Sublime Text, Visual Studio Code, they fall under the category of what we known as what is called translator. And translator also can either be an interpreter or a compiler. There are different languages that fall under these two categories. Python, for example, fall under an interpreted language. I'll explain what those language means. Then also, there are other languages such as C. They fall under languages known as compiler. But generally, both in interpreter and compiler, they fall under the category known as translator. I'm just giving you, tell you that translator can either be an interpreter or a compiler. So when you write the code, like maybe you write this particular code, in this case, using Python, print hello world, your machine only understands ones and zero. It doesn't know what to do with this piece of information, which is print hello world in this case. So it is now the work of your translator to convert this string hello world to ones and zero. That's the only time your computer will understand what you are trying to do. So it could be 2 plus 2, could be 3 plus 3, it could be 10 times 10. Just know that it is the work of your translator program. In this case, either PyCharm or Sublime Text, any editor you are using at all to run your Python code, it is a translator. So it just convert, what it does basically is convert your source code to ones and zero, because your machine only understand ones and zero. And there are different kinds of programming language. You have the high-level programming language and low-level programming language. For example, now Python falls under the category of high-level programming language. Why? Because it makes more sense to a human being. It is easier for a human being to understand what I just wrote here, this piece of code. That's why it is called high-level language. It is almost similar to English language, you understand? But there are different languages also that are called low-level language. For example, like assembly language. They are languages that are closer to the operating system. Like their syntax, it's almost similar to ones and zeros, you understand? But we are not doing assembly language, neither are we doing C for this data science. We are strictly using Python. So just know that your programming language can either fall under the category of high-level programming language or low-level programming language. And your translator, what you are using to carry out to do your data science work or your programming, it can either be an interpreted translator or a compiler. So your language is either Python or JavaScript. They can either they fall under the category of an interpreted language, while languages such as C++, C, they fall under the category of a compiled language. How does an interpreted language work? And if, for instance, now maybe let's say this is the first line of code on my Sublime Text editor is print hello world. The next line is 2 plus 2. The third line is like, let's say, if you ask me a question, how old are you? In interpreted language, the compiler, the translator is going to run each line of code line by line. It will run the first line, it will run the second line, it will run the third line continuously till the source code, from the beginning to the end of the source code. But in terms of a compiled language, or while using a compiler, it's going to compile the entire source code. Even if there are 10,000 lines of code, it's going to compile everything before it shows you the result, the output. So that's just the difference between a compiled language and an interpreted language. So don't forget. So anytime somebody is asking you, what do you use? What program do you use for Python? What are they called? They are called translators. Those are different companies have their own translator program. Sublime Text is one of them. Visual Studio Code is one of them. Python has its own. Then PyCharm, if you are using Spider, also they are all called translator. So the language you are now using, the programming language you are using will now fall under the category of either an interpreted language or a compiled language. So your translator takes your programming language and converts it. The whole work is being done here through the translator program and converts it to an interpreted to machine code, which is ones and zeros. So that's why they tell you machine only understand ones and zero. That's what it means, binary, 1 and 0. You understand? So I think that's just basic introduction for today's class. So while you guys are learning the statistics part, so I don't want to start giving you a whole lot of concept, new things for you to learn, because I just want to make sure that you guys have enough time to process the statistics part before, like Thursday, we are going to kick off like learning actual Python programming language. So I have 10 minutes left, so I'll just close this, and I'll unmute you guys so that you guys can ask me questions based on everything we've discussed so far. So if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself, please. So unmute yourself if you have any question and ask me, please. If you have any question, please do that while I'm here. Any question? Should I call on somebody? Yes, my friend, Chichi Ejiba. Please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. I don't think I'm ready for any questions because I'm still trying to digest some things. So
okay, it's usually like that.
Then I go back to class, I can have I can prepare my questions for next class.
Okay, all right, sure. No problem. So make sure you watch all previous videos and practice what you learned today.
Thank you.
All right. So is there another person? Let me call on a guy this time around. Adam William. Please unmute yourself. Adams William. Adams William. Are you there?
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
So based on what we discussed today, so is there any question you want to ask, or is there any clarification you want? Or
I joined a bit late, but my question, I just want to ask, how can I add the Jupyter notebook to my home screen? I'm finding that a bit hard.
Okay, so what you do, this is what you do. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
So once you've installed Anaconda, when you click on the Windows button, what you just do by default, you just type Jupyter Notebook and you see it here. Can you see Jupyter Notebook in bracket Anaconda 3?
Yes, I can see it.
So you just right click on it. Once you right click on it, you are going to see different options: run as administrator, open file location, blah, 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 blah. Just click on open file location. So once you've opened file location, can you see Jupyter Notebook here? This one here. Not the Anaconda and Anaconda prompt. You could as well add everything, but since you are asking for Jupyter Notebook, just right click on this Jupyter Notebook here. And you see send to. Can you see send to option? You can see this option send
yes.
to. So send to,
yes.
Then you select what? Desktop. It will create its shortcut. So once you click on it, this desktop, then you are going to see this. It's going to be displayed here. Can you see the Jupyter Notebook here? You didn't watch our video. If you have watched our video from the beginning, you will have known how to send any particular program, not just Jupyter Notebook.
I watched the video, but I was finding it hard for the Jupyter.
So now you know.
I didn't know the exact file to copy to the desktop screen.
Okay. No problem. So that's all. Is that all?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
No problem. So who am I calling next? This person I've not talked since we started this class. Cosimo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Cosimo. Please unmute yourself. Everybody is going to speak today.
Yeah, good evening.
Cosimo,
Yeah, good evening.
good evening. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Is there any question you want to ask, or is there any clarification?
Yeah, no. I was watching and I was having network issues going out of the meeting and joining. But I will like watch the videos again, like when you upload them.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much. Then who am I going to call? Amarachi, please unmute yourself. If you don't have any question to ask me, I'm going to ask you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm fine, sir.
So,
Sir,
okay.
I don't really have any question this night.
Okay. I'm saving everything for the next class.
No, not like for the next class, but when I watch the video again, I will see if I can get anything, but I wasn't like really getting everything we are saying at the same time. So I will watch the video again.
Okay. Because maybe you are just getting introduced to those concepts for the first time. So it's usually like that. Yes, because I'm trying to
Yes,
I know different persons have different background in terms of how to operate a computer or navigating your way around Windows, you understand? So I don't want to go too deep. So that's why I'm just like keeping it at the surface level. But with time, you become familiar with it and you take it on from there.
okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, no problem. Kingsley Ezewaka. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. You can unmute yourself, please, and speak.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm fine. So you have a question?
Yes, I do. I was a little bit confused about you kept mentioning about data science, and I thought today was designed for web design.
Yeah. I think the timetable, when you check Monday, Wednesday, Fridays for web development, right? Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday is for data science. But I kind of had it like confused in a way, but for the web development guys too, they have their own videos to watch as well. But today is just kind of like a concept that both those that are into web development or data science could as well learn from it. So
Okay, thank you very much.
yeah, sure, no problem. All right, so is there another person?
Good evening.
Good evening, Omada Emmanuel.
Okay. Yes, I understood all what you taught today quite well. I think if I watch videos again, I will be able to understand better.
Okay.
But my question is about like your browser now that's open.
Okay.
Your browser now that is open.
Okay.
I can see that some of those sites are opened under the not the tab, the place where you have the apps. How do you put
Which of
those
them?
sites there?
Is it all these ones you are talking about?
Yes.
All these are bookmark. It's just some of the websites I use for information. All these are bookmark.
Oh, they're just bookmarks.
They are just bookmarks, so that's why they are here.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay, I'll see you something.
Okay.
All right, that's my question, sir.
No problem. So far for the web development guys, did you practice what we did last class? Let me look for somebody who like on now. Esaima, yes. Esaima, our doctor that is learning web development.
How far, my guy?
I'm cool. I'm great. How are you doing?
I do. I greet you, sir.
So far for all we've like touched or worked on so far, how's it been going?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's cool. It's going.
So have you been able to practice everything we've done? Hello?
I was able to do it. So I'm good. I'm good.
All right. So thanks a lot. So that will be all for today. See you guys now next class. Bye bye.